conservation. What is conservation? What do you mean by conservation? What do you mean by conservation? Anyone? No idea? Okay. I'm going to tell the meaning of conservation. So conservation means to preserve. Simply, conservation means to preserve anything or maintain anything in its own natural form. So conservation means to maintain anything in its own form. अपने खुद के form, to maintain its own form. We say conservation of forest, conservation of rivers, conservation of any dam, conservation of any historical place, any monument, conservation of mountains. So conservation is to maintain in its own manner, in its natural form. So children, this chapter has two aspects, flora and fauna conservation. So next is flora. So flora means the plants, trees growing at a particular place. So plants, trees, bushes, grasses growing at a particular place. It is called as what? It is called as flora. No, flora, it has been taken from the flower. So flower, flora. So most of the plants, they produce flowers to improve their generation, to carry their generation. So this is the meaning of flora. So different geographical locations have different type of plants. Like, I have explained you about the plants in previous chapter. So, like for example, in northern part of India, northeast part of India, this western part of India, southern part of India, there is geographical differences. In the central India, like MP, Chhattisgarh, the conditions are different with respect to Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, in most part, there is a desert. There is sand dunes are there. So here, there is the more and more trees which are having the desert nature, or the trees which can resist the less water, hot climate. So there is the excess of the trees of the babul, khejri. These plants, they can resist the temperature. They require less water. And as a result, there is the condition of having the desertness. Similarly, cactus can grow there in Rajasthan well. People name, they require less water. Similarly, if you go to northeast part, like Meghalaya, Assam, Shillong, you all must be knowing the geographical conditions are totally different there. The northeast regions experience lot of rains, and heat is very less. Summers are much less fierce than that of this Rajasthan or other parts of India. So, children, in those areas, northeastern part, the trees are different. hardly you will find there the trees of babul or khejri. Hardly. Rather, they don't grow because the temperature is very low. There is raining and the plants they cannot survive. In that areas, in those areas, there are the different plants like pinus, pines. You must be knowing pines, pine trees, conifers, like conifers, the trees of conifer, they have cones like symmetry. They form the cone. Similarly, in this Himachal, this complete the range. Himachal, Uttarakhand, then the part of Uttar Pradesh attached with the Nepal, Bihar. Similarly, this the borderline areas. The temperature is very low, and so the conifers they grow there. Similarly, horticulture also. You all must know. Like if we have the case of pineapple, pineapple cannot be grown here in Assam. Similarly, apple, cherries, plums, they cannot be grown here. That is artificial. I am talking to artificial conditions. So the children point is that we cannot grow in these places. So this is the meaning of flora. Then coming to fauna. So animals of different types growing means reproducing, growing and developing, growing and developing at a particular place, growing and developing at a particular place, it is called as fauna. So similarly, fauna, in Rajasthan they desert. So camels, they are easily seen. Camels. So similarly, normally camels are seen in desert areas. The conditions are suitable for the camels to grow, multiply. Similarly, the camels will hardly find the herd of camels in north. Herd means group of camels, a group of animals. You'll rarely find because the conditions are not suitable. Similarly, in south part, South India, the conditions are different. So this is about the basics of the chapter flora and fauna and the conservation of the flora and fauna. Now children, next I am going to explain a very important part in this. It is biodiversity. So children, this word biodiversity, it is made up of two different words. So first is bio. So bio means biological or related to biology. That is animals and plants. Animals and plants. So this is the meaning of biological. Then coming to diversity. Diversity means varieties. Diversity means varieties or types. Varieties or types, it is there. So but biodiversity refers to the animals and plants, that is flora and fauna of a particular place. So biodiversity may be defined as the animals of different types, animals of different types, and plants of different types. Animals of different types, plants of different types, growing, growing together. So, just I have explained that the plants, the animals are different. Like children, uh, panda. Panda requires very low temperature. So it is very difficult to have these pandas in India because they require ice. They will die. They will fall sick when the temperature is high. So we'll have to arrange panda in zoo. So the room of the panda has to be there. Similarly, different animals have their rhinoceros. Rhinoceros, they require different conditions. We keep in zoo, but they die very quickly. Their life is very miserable. The animals in a zoo, mostly they are in very miserable conditions. They are prone to different diseases because of the geographical conditions, climatic conditions. And so this is the very important part in the flora and fauna. Biodiversity plays an important role in the conservation of flora and fauna. And so it has to be taken into consideration. It has to be taken into consideration about the biodiversity. There are the variety of plants, variety of animals, like you must be knowing animal, hedgehog or porcupine. Porcupine or hedgehog have, large spines throughout the body except the mouth. So porcupine or hedgehog requires soil which is very soft, like desert soil, and so it cannot survive in the soil which is soggy or soil having the black soil. Similarly, the they they carry their animals, herd of animals to different places which are suitable to them. They cannot go to other places. If it is raining, so all the animals will fall sick. They'll be deprived of their grasses and other eatables. And so, children, this is very important part about the biodiversity, flora and fauna, and its conservation. Now, children, you must uh, keep in mind that we cannot maintain biodiversity artificially. Biodiversity cannot be, it cannot be maintained by artificial. Maintained or made by artificial method. Maintained or made. Only it can be, it can be slightly improved. Only we can improve the biodiversity. You all must know. In the forests, for the animals they live, the forest department provide eatables, grasses, meat for the animals. They provide water also because in summers the water is very less in amount, and the forests are very huge, very big, and so it requires lot of expenses, lot of money, and different conditions. So the conservation, I'm coming to next very important part, how to conserve the this flora and fauna. So conservation of the flora and fauna, maintenance of the biodiversity is very important part. that care has to be taken. That so care has to be taken to maintain the biodiversity at a place. Care has to be taken. Like deforestation. If we cut down the forest, so where animals will live, where wild animals will go, you all must be knowing. In newspapers you see, in TV channels you see, generally we come to know about the animals, that the leopards or the lions or elephants, they have entered into residential areas, they have entered into cities. Why? Because of this shrinking forest. Due to deforestation, the diameter of the forest area, it is decreasing day by day due to indiscriminate cutting of trees. Indiscriminate means excessive cutting without giving a thought process. And so what will happen? In order to their food, in order to save place, in order to have the water, the poor animals, they migrate, they move to the human places, because they are also, they are the creatures, they require some food. And so children, you must be knowing, as a result of this, many species of the animals and plants, they are at the verge of extinction. They are at the verge of the, becoming, zero. We call extinct species, endangered species. And why this so? Why we are come to this condition? Because of not maintaining the biodiversity. We have cut down trees for our own self, ourselves aim, for different purposes. We require wood, timber, and so naturally the forests, jungles have collapsed. And so when they have collapsed, so what will happen? There will be less area for the animals to live, migrate, reproduce, live safely. So that's why there is the concept of the reserve forest. Reserve forest, there is the concept of reserve forest. Reserve forest, wildlife sanctuaries, to be more effective. Reserve forest must be made at all the places. And reserve forest means the forest area which is reserved exclusively for a particular place, so that animals, like in Soy Madhav Pradesh, there are Sariska, so they have to be declared forest reserve, because they require animals. Poachers, they kill the animals for their skin, for different products. And so forest reserves have the guards, they have the persons, forest personals, they prevent, they provide food, they provide shelter, they provide water. So this is the way. So children, by forest reserve, we prevent the cutting of trees, proper maintenance is there, watering is there. If there is fire in jungles, the fire in jungles is also prevented. So these are the ways to have the proper system. More and more personals are required to maintain the biodiversity. And because you see, if any animal has extinct, So what will happen? No option. We have to bring from the other place. And so if any animal has lost from the earth, what will happen? No. It will just become part of history. So this is all about the flora, fauna, conservation and its maintenance and different aspects.